people had a question whether or not I thought this was a success, whether or not I thought this experiment worked. And I would say, yes, it was a success. H unit is still operating with the doors open. What we have done, the only difference is we've put the deputy back in the unit at the request of the detainees in the unit, not for safety purposes, but for the deputy be a resource for the detainees. If the tablets aren't working right, if the phones aren't working, their code is not working to make the phone calls or what have you, or they have questions about their case, they can ask the deputy for information. What's happening with my bond, or when am I going to be bonded out? Just various questions that can come up. And so the deputy's in there as a resource. Now, things we've learned from this experiment is that having a deputy in the unit as a resource is beneficial to the detainees in the unit. We've learned that you can create a community. H unit is one of the safest units in the facility, only second to our reentry unit, which has a community. We created a community in those units. We have learned some things. We learned where they were, an area that they were using to create the soot to make tattoo ink. That was something new for us. We did not realize they were using the toilet paper holder area to create the soot. We also learned that though we try to do a good job with our searches of what we call the action packer, the box that they may have the detainee have their supplies in, we learned that we need to find a different container. And we're in the process of looking at a different container that will limit the areas where someone can hide things. So we've learned some things from this. And we knew this from the beginning, that when you add additional cameras that you wouldn't normally have, we don't put cameras in all the cells, the sleeping areas of the detainees. We have some in our suicide rooms, but we don't have them everywhere. And we're finding that we still have areas in the unit where we have blind spots, and that we need to add more cameras to address those blind spots. So we've learned some things from this experiment. I think an important thing that we want to get, or wanted to have come out of this, is that we can do things differently. That we can create a community that's a safer community, not only for the deputies, but for the detainees. There are some people who were a little upset about seeing hooch being made or fights going on in a jail. That's unfortunate that you have those things occurring in a jail setting, but they do occur. And if we're going to take action to reduce those, then we have to look at what we're doing, how we're doing it, how can we do it better. And that's the things that we're doing. We know that if I create a community in the unit, you can't just have a stick. You got to provide some positive things in that unit. And when you do that, you can create a community. When you help these detainees understand and take some ownership in their area, then they can take steps, and they will take steps to improve their community. And if you've looked at the series, you will notice that majority of the people did the right thing from the beginning. And so you will have people who will challenge things. But I think you can create a true community in the facility, and we've done that. And we're in the process of looking at expanding to another unit, a larger unit, the same principle. And we'll take the things that we've learned from this experiment as we try to expand. It's a step-by-step process. We know that phone calls are important for the detainees to reach out to their family members. We know that contact is important to have to help them while they're in this facility. Regardless of what the charges are, my responsibility is for those individuals in this facility. And with 80% of the people booked in this county jail going home or being released from this facility, not going to prison, not going to federal prison or state prison, but coming home. It is our responsibility to try to increase the chances of them coming out and not reoffending. In other words, not coming out and not creating another victim in our community. It's about prevention. And that's what the sheriff's office is about. If they can learn that they can have a positive impact on their community in the jail, in a unit, then maybe they'll take with them when they walk out that they can have a positive impact on their home community, on their neighborhood, and the community as a whole.
What's preventing y'all from getting that second unit, like H unit, open, since like the experiment happened a year ago? What sort of things have you had to do and still need to do?
So one of the issues is population, because at one point we were averaging 1330 in the facility, and we're a 1,210 bed facility. So when you're overpopulated, you're having to push more people around into the unit. So we have what we call you have bunks, but we also have these portable, they call them canoes, but it's where you can put a mattress in. And so we're having to have people not only in the unit, in the individual cells, we're having to put people put in these bunks or on the floor in the common area. So when you have that many people, it creates some issues of trying to have space for everyone. So that's one of the issues we're dealing with. And then we have our staffing level is an issue. And again, we've had 18 graduate. As soon as they finish their training, then we'll be able to move forward with opening up this unit. And like I say, we will have a process. We'll do the same thing we did with H unit. We will go in and talk to them about the expectations for them in the unit. And if they don't want to be in the unit with the doors unlocked, we'll transfer them to another unit. So we'll go through the same process that we went through in the H unit with this one. It's a larger unit, so we just want to be sure that we've followed all the steps we need to follow, dot all our I's and cross our T's to make sure it's safe. Because the most important thing is the safety of the unit.
Can you just put like a number on the H unit compared to like this one? How many roughly
are in the unit?
Yeah, like detainees that would be in that unit?
So H unit, I think it holds up to 46 in that unit.
And this new one was?
It's 80. Is it right? 79. Yeah. And in between time, we've done, I think the A and B units, the two sides of each of those units. That's another, 40 on each side. So,
which unit is it that you're planning on standing up?
Is it Q?
Did that $60,000 check surprise you? Did you inform anyone from the county that it was coming?
As far as the check, that was up to the production company. They had no obligation to do that. I explained that to them. That's something they wanted to do, and they said they were going to issue a check. And I informed them if they did, they need to go to Pulaski County government, not to the sheriff's office. And I explained to them the process. And so when they sent the check to us, we sent it downtown to the comptroller's office, where it would have to go. And if the county wanted to receive the check, it would go into general funds. And that's my understanding. Well, the judge I got a copy of his letter sending it back to the production company.
Did you tell anyone while you were having those discussions ahead of time, or just whenever you sort of sent the check along their way?
Just when I sent the check, because they had no obligation to do it. And I'm not going to let them know let the county know there's a $60,000 check coming and it doesn't come. That was all up to them whether they want to do that or not. So it wasn't an issue until they sent the check to the county.
Speaking of the check, did you or any of your nonprofits receive any money from Lucky 8 Productions?
No.
None at all?
No.
Did you expect the kind of backlash that you received from Pulaski County government and the legislators?
I was disappointed in that. With hope that we focus on the positive, on what we're doing and how it truly transforms our facility can do that. But I will say that, I have offered for the county, people in county government to come see what we do. We invite them to everything we do. Before the last primary election, we had an open house here, invited all people holding office in county government, state government, that their area was Pulaski County. We invited them to come. We invited those who were elected or who were running for office to also come and tour the facility and see what we're doing. Several people did come, but not everyone, and not some of the folks that have a negative opinion about what we're doing.
Like who?
I'll let you ask them, and they can relate whether or not they came or not. I don't have a list in front of me, but I will say that you can ask those people who received the invitation whether or not they came.
Why end the questioning at the legislature and say you're not going to answer any more questions, and then a week later have a media press conference?
Well, first of all, I've had several requests from the media to asking, do I think it's successful? And we were planning this, but the committee made a request of me to come to ask me to come to them. I asked them that they had questions. They refused to provide me any questions, but if anyone paid attention, they had questions. And when I saw, and I stayed there and answered their questions until they got so disrespectful that I felt it was necessary to end it. And so I wanted to still come like I had planned to talk to the media. Again, when the trailer dropped and I came back in town, we had a meeting. And we had a media day. And I allowed everyone who showed up to spend as much time as they wanted to ask the questions that they had. And I addressed all those questions then. And the next step was, after the production was released, after everyone's had a chance to view it, the questions was, do I think it was successful? And so I wanted to meet with you to answer that question. And yes, I do think it was successful. We can do this, and we're planning moving forward with the next unit, a larger unit. So it will take a little bit more time to expand to that unit, but we're in the process of planning that expansion. We learned things about the importance of phone calls. Some of you may not know this, but since the pandemic, the company that provides our video visitation have been providing 30 minutes of free video visitation every week for all the detainees in the facility. And we did that during the pandemic when we had to shut everything down, and they continued that. And so the phone service company is agreeing, and we're trying to work out the details of that, to provide a certain number of minutes per detainee in this facility. I think it's 15 minutes per week.
Yes, sir.
15 minutes per week for those detainees. Everyone in the facility make phone calls to talk to their attorney, to talk to their family members. So we are moving forward in providing a service, continued service to our community, outside community, and inside community in our facility.